Welcome to What in the Smut podcast,
where the books are horny and so are we. I'm Elle.
and I'm Kay. So the world is a hellscape, but is the Bookstagram world also? How's the Smut first looking?
Also a hellscape.
Lovely.
The internet is full of morons.
Yes.
Someone took to threads this week to state that people who self-publish are not indie if they're publishing or distributing through Amazon, showing an incredible lack of critical thinking skill.
Amazon is a big, I guess you could call it a big publisher, but all of the people, it's a publishing tool.
Yeah.
Not a publisher.
It's like calling Microsoft Word a publisher.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But perhaps more depressing, an indie author who made it big is now watching it all slip away under allegations of AI use.
Yeesh.
Mia Ballard originally self-published her horror novel, Shy Girl, and mid-last year, it got picked up by Hachette. Unfortunately, someone ran it through an AI detection software and determined it was 78% written by AI. Now, let's talk about this. The allegations are not proven, and it is worth noting that others have tested these AI detectors and found that they do, in fact, make mistakes. One of them claimed that the entirety of Chapter 5 of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was 100% AI. Ballard denies having used AI and claims that in the early stages of self-publishing, when she had no money to pay an editor, she had an acquaintance offer to edit for her, and she suspects that that person may have run it through an LLM. There's a lot of discourse and no proof, with defenders of Ballard, a Black woman, claiming this is a standard case of misogynoir and pointing out that the developers of AI detection tools have every incentive to get publishers to believe that this is a big problem. However, the signs of its usage are there. A lot of the hallmark, it's not this, it's not this, it's that, which we've started to see crop up in AI language, logic that makes no sense, metaphors that are not real metaphors. There are bits and pieces of this that could point to AI usage and could also point to not a great writer. But the signs are there, and there's like an entire YouTube essay of like digging through it, and the New York Times did their own analysis of it. It just like it blew up. And according to one of the articles I saw, this is the first commercially published book to get pulled due to AI allegations. And publishers and authors alike are all determined to stand against a technology that has the power to destroy the industry. And so a spokeswoman from Hachette said, Hachette remains committed to protecting original creative expression and storytelling. So they're not taking any chances.
So as more books are put out, more books are taken in by AI. So
it's like the M- all over again, where it's like if it was often used in writing, that writing then got consumed by an LLM that learned off of it and started using it a lot. It's like the only reason it could possibly be there is because it was in original writing first. And that's why so much of this is so frustrating.
Well, and it's also like, okay, so certain things like don't make sense. Also, like we're about to talk about a book where the alphabet comes to life.
Yeah.
And not to say, obviously, this is not AI, but like all of what we talk about is stuff that doesn't make sense.
Correct.
In terms of like, it's so tricky.
Right.
It's so tricky and it's scary.
It
I
is.
don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't either. But let's talk about a book that could in no way have been dreamed up by a computer. Okay.
This week, we are talking about My Date with Caps Lock by one of the sentient object queens herself, Thea Masen. And the synopsis says, rule number 1, don't leave a writing deadline until the last minute. She's written 69 spicy scenes and now has a severe case of writer's block. What's a romance writer to do? Get away on a writing retreat, try out an old typewriter she found in the cabin she's renting, of course. But the caps lock key is stuck, and all she gets are capital letters. Letters that aren't content to stay on the page.
This one was even more wild than I expected.
Yes, very much so, but in the most delightful way.
I could not agree more. Where would you put it on our smut scale?
I would call this a 3.
Okay.
Or is it a 5? 26 letters of the alphabet. Is there an ampersand?
No, I don't think so.
So there are 26 letters of the alphabet, and everybody's getting a piece of our main character. So,
Yes.
like, it is definitely more than one.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's at least 4 or 5, because our 4 is there are 3 or more participants, and most of them are not human, or there's only 2, and the trigger warnings include non or duck con. So
Okay.
I think it could rise to a level 5 because there are questionable logistics with all of these letters.
I mean, we haven't had a level 5 in a while, but
And there are going to be tentacles later.
Oh, you're right. There are. Okay. Level 5.
Level 5. Level 5. Ah, it's been a while.
Welcome back, listeners. What would you, and I was actually a little surprised.
There
was no list of trigger warnings.
Indeed. That is a curious choice, but I do think we have some trigger warnings here. There's certainly some double penetration among many other things. I feel like with an icky, sticky tangle of tentacles, we are talking about many different kinks at play. There's some breath play because at one point, S does kind of choke her out a little bit.
Yeah, true.
I mean, like, we're talking about like full-on gangbang scenario. So
I wouldn't necessarily call it a gangbang. I feel like there's some level of emotion there between
I don't know that gangbang
like
has any.
they're all there for her play. I feel like
That's true. That's true. There are connotations to gangbang that feel a little bit like using the single female participant.
yes. And in
Mercilessly.
this case, they're all there for her pleasure.
That is a very good point.
And also, that's not something that I will Google to see
No.
if that is a.
No. I think we'll leave that one as a mystery. Up to interpretation.
Definitely not one I'm going to Google today. Sorry, everybody.
But I think that's about it. Is like light breath play, double penetration, and of course, many, many partners all at once.
Many, many partners. Yes. So this did have some pretty good ratings here. We had a 4.1 on Amazon, 3.9 on Goodreads. There weren't a ton of reviews, but they were all good.
Yeah.
There weren't any 1 or 2 star reviews, and there might not have even been any 3 stars. But a 4-star from Amazon says, "Whoa, okay, this one was so strange, but in a good way. Like off the wall, but I couldn't stop reading because I was so entertained. Letters literally come to life and partake in some group activity, if you know what I mean. The way the letters used their shapes and said group activity was super creative. How does Thea come up with this? Read it. That's all. I agree."
I agree. This one was just so fun.
And then a 5-star says, "Well, this was certainly unhinged in a good way. What did I read? All the words, every single letter, read them with both my eyeballs, and here we are. I was so curious how this was going to play out and was certainly left satisfied. Also, the wordplay and alliteration, extremely top-notch, a fun, fantastic read." I also agree with this.
Yep. A 5-star from Goodreads says, "Why choose between any of 26 letters in the alphabet? Only the capitals, of course. I want to reread and see if all 26 were mentioned, but I'm fairly certain Thea probably made sure of that. Going in, I had no idea how a date with Caps Lock was going to go, and by the end of it, I was kicking my feet giggling because Thea Masen is a genius."
She certainly is.
She is. It's so good. It's so good. And finally, a 4-star on Goodreads says, "Chicka chicka boom boom, will there be enough room?"
Do you get that reference?
No.
Oh, there's a book. There's a kid's book called Chicka Chicka Boom Boom.
Oh.
And it's about letters climbing a coconut tree.
Oh my
to
God.
see if they'll all fit in the coconut tree.
Oh
and
my
they
God.
fall off.
That's so bad.
So
It's so funny.
so funny, and any of our listeners that have kids, I'm sure, would understand the reference from the beginning. That's why I pulled it, because it made me laugh.
That's fantastic. In this book, yes, there's room for all the letters of the alphabet. This was insane, but if you're a fan of sentient object books, then I do recommend this. The writing was good, and I loved that each letter started any sentence they said with their letter. I noticed this. I really
I did
enjoyed
too.
this. Such a silly, humorous way to spend a short amount of time. This is under 50 pages, so you can easily knock it off in a single sitting. I'm so delighted. And like we come into each week and there's that like, what have I gotten myself into this week in a good way kind of dread. I don't know how
Most
to
of the time.
Right,
Usually,
yeah. It's like, what fresh hell is this, like, positive? I don't like, I'm always excited to see what I'm gonna be subjected to, but this week I was just, like, so delighted.
It was very much, a lot of this was an ode to writers.
Yeah, yes, that was a big part of it,
Um,
I think.
And that was lovely. And I think that it just was such a fun, light read that was like, the world is dark. So this was lovely.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So, as always, we will be going through the full plot. If you want to give Thea Masen her page reads, there will be a link in our show notes for you. And we will be right here waiting for you when you get back. Ready to get into it?
So ready. Can we start with the dedication? To all the romance writers who are taken by the English language.
I love it.
It's so good. Everything about this is great. And I think we mentioned last week when we teed this book up that this was a potluck scenario, a group project, if you will. So we had 9 authors sign up to write 14 different books on weird and obscure holidays.
Which I love.
And I think especially delightful is the nods to writing, as you mentioned, Kay, because we start before chapter 1. It says, writing rule number 1, never start a book with a dream. Dreams make the reader feel betrayed. And like, these are true cliches. Like, you're not supposed to have your character look into a mirror to describe their own appearance. Like, you're not supposed to start with a dream. Like, the show don't tell. Like, so much of this is like, these little nods here are so fun because it's like, you're not supposed to do this. Watch me do it.
Yeah. Which is also interesting because it's like, those rules were passed down for a reason,
Yes.
but there's always that, like, the exception to the rule sometimes can make for something really fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we start with a dream.
Yes. Our main character is running through the woods. Hot, panting breaths tickle my neck, and I can smell the wet fur of the beast on my heels. This was giving me kind of Willing Prey vibes at first, except when it turned into wet fur. I've got a dog. It doesn't smell.
Wet fur does
smell
not
good.
smell good.
No, I mean, I love the full sensory experience, but wet fur is like probably one of my least favorite smells.
Oh, it's so bad. But so she gets caught. He spins her around, pushes her against the tree. What form do you want me in when I devour you? Do you want the monster or the man? Like, I would read this story, frankly.
Right?
Is like he transforms from a monster into a man. His smile is as feral in this form as in his other. This isn't even the story. We get no more of this. But Thea Masen is just like, let me prove to you that I could write something like classic monster romance,
Yes.
And then the moment our eyes locked, he thrusts hard and I gasp, awake in bed. Alone.
Such a disappointment.
Such a disappointment.
And then, so before each chapter, we get another writing rule. So chapter 2, our writing rule number 2 is don't start a scene with a character waking up and thinking. It's cliche and boring.
And that's what
And
we do.
why do sex dreams always end too soon?
Hmm.
Our main character is thinking to herself. And we find out that she is in an isolated cabin where she was kind of creating her own little writer's retreat, separated from the distractions of society, tucked away where thousands of writers have stayed before. I'm hunting inspiration, but I keep chasing bunny trails.
Yeah. I will say I'm so curious about Thea Mason's writing process because I get the sense that there's a lot of insertion is not the right word, a lot of personal experience on display here. And as someone who has dabbled in writing and participated in things like novel writing in November, the idea that she is on her last full day here and has to write roughly 20,000 words before she leaves is insane to me.
What's your record?
For words in a day?
Yeah.
That's a really good question. I think one November I managed to get 10,000 in.
Oh, wow. I think 5's my max.
Yeah, like I think that was when I was living in San Francisco. I had no life and no money, so I couldn't go anywhere or do anything.
Fair.
So, like, it was literally just like a fever dream of like, I think I wrote for like 14 hours that day and just like hauled ass basically. But that's like back when I was in my 20s. Like, I just don't have the attention span for it anymore.
Or the wrist ability to sit there in that one position for that long.
Although I will say, ladies, carpal tunnel release surgery, it works wonders. Treat yourself to less nerve pain.
So she has been there for 5 days and has only written 5,000 words.
Ouch.
Yeah. I mean,
that's nothing to sneeze at. If you like, if I would consider that a win, but like I've got a full-time job and 1,000 words a day is nothing to be ashamed of. But if
when
your
you've gone someplace for 5 days
and your goal was to write 25,000 words ish total, and instead so far you've got 5. Yikes.
Yeah. Yes. And
rough.
do we ever get whether or not she wrote close to that 20,000? Okay.
Yes.
So we get a little bit of a kind of scene setting with this cabin. It's not fancy. There's no TV, which is good. It's almost like one of those things where you need to not have TV or internet access in order to, although I Google too much to not have internet access.
Yeah.
But no TV is a good one.
I agree.
And there's a couch, a desk, a typewriter, a closed-in kitchen. And we get a little bit about how dishes in the sink are a distraction for her, which was okay.
It's so funny because I feel like this spoke to me a lot, where she goes on a rant here for another paragraph of, I don't know who thought open floor plan kitchens were a good idea, but I wish they'd never had the thought. I don't want to see my messy kitchen counters all the time, and no one else does either. Like the fact that like dirty dishes are a distraction. Like we are in her head this whole story, so we see in real time when she gets distracted by a thought and like goes down a rabbit hole in her brain. And while I will say I don't have a problem with open plan kitchens, a lot of the rest of this was like, oh, that is me. I am in this picture and I don't like it.
So it's funny because to me, dirty dishes in the sink are on par with making sure I wash my face before bed. Like
I get physically stressed out if we have too many dishes. If the kitchen's a mess, like I will literally like not even realize it's a problem until suddenly I'm like, I feel like crying and I'm overstimulated. And my fiance is like, I'll do the dishes. How about that? I'm like, oh, right.
See, it's one of those things for me where like it doesn't bother me until I look and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of dishes.
Yeah.
And then it's something that takes me 5 minutes. Like I can do all of the dishes while my kids' chicken nuggets are in the oven.
Yeah.
And then I do feel a little better, but it's not ever something that has ever been like, I can't go to sleep until the kitchen is clean. Never.
Wow. I'm so jealous.
My neuroses lay elsewhere.
That's fair. We're all different flavors of neurospicy.
So she makes herself a cup of coffee, boots up her computer, and then realizes, I haven't used this pretty teal typewriter yet. Which there's something about an appliance. I mean, that's an appliance, right? A typewriter?
I literally
that.
went down a rabbit hole in my own brain of like, appliance? Is that an appliance? I mean, dishwasher is an
Kinda.
appliance, right?
Yeah, but so I'm
A
thinking
washing machine.
like my KitchenAid mixer is an appliance.
Yeah.
It's a small appliance.
But it's a
But
thing that does the manual work for you. Yeah.
oh.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess we could call a typewriter that because it's getting the words instead of you having to write them.
Yes.
So,
I don't
but
know.
I equate a teal typewriter to my teal KitchenAid mixer.
You have a teal
Like-
KitchenAid mixer?
Yeah, it's like that aqua.
Nice.
It's
Ah,
pretty.
Mine's black. It's fine. I have a
I used
nice
it the other
red
day.
Dutch oven, though.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I guess it's a Dutch oven, is also teal.
The dream matching kitchen. Okay, we are really showing our age right now. But I agree with you. I think regardless of the nomenclature, I think it fits the same vibes.
Yeah, and that, if for whatever reason, that color just appeals to me quite a bit. But also, that like mint green to teal pipeline is very millennial.
It's so millennial. It's such an era. Anyway, so color schemes aside, she has not used the teal typewriter just yet.
Yes. So we also get something that spoke to me. Some people get wired from coffee, but it makes me relaxed. My brain is always going a million miles a minute with anxious thoughts, but coffee quiets everything just enough for me to focus.
Yeah.
Spoke to me.
Yep, I agree.
I could drink a full cup of coffee 15 minutes before going to bed and still fall asleep.
Probably.
I mean, espresso martinis.
Love me an espresso martini.
Me too. And I can drink that and then go home and knock right out for the night. Perhaps it has something to do with the alcohol in there, but like espresso is, I don't know. Anyway.
I have a small story about that. If you ever feel bad about yourself, you will never be as wrong as my friend who met with alcohol distributors it was like around 2010 in Manhattan. And they were pitching this new cocktail to be the next big thing. And she was like, who would want coffee at night? I don't think this espresso martini thing is going to take off.
Yikes. Around that time, I was drinking Choco Vine, which smelled like rubbing alcohol, but tasted like chocolate milk and would get you fucked up.
I mean, I feel like I was adjacent because I was in the pinnacle whipped era.
Yep.
Also smelled like rubbing alcohol, but tasted like vanilla.
I actually went to a liquor store the other day and there's still chocolate wine out there. I almost bought it just to try it, but I didn't.
Hey, I think some things are better left in the past. Speaking of better left in the past, writing rule number 3 is avoid flashbacks. They're disorienting and pull the reader out of the forward flow of the story.
I mean, that can go either way.
I know. I fucking love a flashback. Ugh.
Me too, but it has to be well done.
It has to be well done. It has to.
A flashback needs to be done well, and typically, in my opinion, needs to be done in italics.
Oh, well, Thea Masen has you covered because we get a flashback in italics where
we also got some real fun facts.
Yes. Would you like to attempt to say this word?
Yes.
Okay.
The Greek poet Horace coined the term hippopotamonstrosesquipedalophobia. Yeah?
That's enough. Hang on. Here, I'm gonna piss everybody off by using the AI pronunciation. I'm kidding. Whoa.
What?
Why did it take so long to fucking Google that? It took forever.
Is it not a real word? Because that'll be disappointing to me.
I'm not seeing any real sites. This is all TikTok, Facebook, and Reddit.
But how do you pronounce it? I'm seeing an AI overview.
Yeah, AI overview is not necessarily a good source. Let's see. Hippopotam monstrous sesquipedaliophobia. Yeah. Are you listening to it also?
Yes. Hippopoto monstrosis quipedalophobia.
Huh. All right. Well, I don't think
Interesting.
the Greek poet Horace coined that term.
Nope, but it does mean the fear of long words.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you'll find third nipples on 6% of the US population. And
There are more murders in summer than in winter, which is why my current romantic suspense takes place in July.
that makes sense though, because I feel like in the winter everybody's tucked inside their homes, and I feel
Correct.
like the whole summer people like back alley murders and stuff like that would be more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and the last one, the typical vaginal canal is 2 to 4 inches long, but can stretch to 4 to 6 inches when aroused. Still not monster length, sadly.
This is what I'm saying. If it's too big, it's gonna fucking hurt. It's not gonna fit.
Yep.
But we also discover that she's written 69 sex scenes. And when she started writing, she never thought she'd write sex. She'd never even read a sex scene until her boyfriend at the time bought her an erotic novel.
Which doesn't make sense.
He
because
didn't buy
does
it for
say-
her.
Yeah, he brought her one that was his sister's.
Mm-hmm.
She told me to pass it along to you since it wasn't her thing.
This is funny to me because this is a choice.
Yeah, it's either like there's plenty of people that would say, this is not my thing, but here you go. Here's a smutty novel.
You need to know that
there needs to be a certain
person-
level of,
familiarity.
yeah. I mean, maybe, I don't know. But also, like, for the sister to give it to the brother and be like, here, it's almost like, here, give this to your slutty girlfriend.
Right? That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, if my fiance's sister recommended a book to me, it would be like, for the podcast. And I would be like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah. You know, like, but this, without her
It's
ever
like,
having...
not my thing, but you'll like it.
Yeah.
Although maybe we're just projecting.
Maybe. It's possible. So this flashback has her getting turned on by her boyfriend sucking on a pickle, which I don't think I've ever seen a man do, but to each his own.
I mean, a jar of pickles and a beer, though.
Yeah. Yum.
Man dinner.
True. But she realizes the power of an erotic scene, gets really horny, and then fucks her boyfriend while he's watching the football game.
Which is unrealistic. I'm sorry, but no man. Honestly, it's like football, sex, than everything else. So football still typically reigns supreme.
Depends on where in the country you are, I suppose. But if he went to the trouble to turn on the football game, then yes, I think you're probably correct.
Yeah. And like, even if he's on the couch, he's going to be like looking around her. Yeah, that was a little unrealistic to me.
Now, the one thing that I was confused about, because she's kind of kicking herself for getting distracted again and counting all of the sex scenes that she's written.
As one does.
As one does. She's thinking about how to approach the scene that she's trying to write and says, my two main characters are lovable goofballs who think the other isn't into them while they're both pining after each other. Now they're stuck sharing a hotel room, of course. Now, this is a romantic suspense.
Oh, is it?
That's what she said. That's why the book is set in July.
Perhaps.
It's a different book.
Maybe.
I have a hard time thinking of a romantic suspense that both main characters are lovable goofballs. That just doesn't fit with the vibes.
Perhaps they're lovable goofballs and they're stuck in a motel with one bed and someone's going to get kidnapped and the other lovable goofball is going to go find them.
Okay, sure.
That's the only way I could spin that to still have the suspense element.
Perhaps.
So you'd think after writing 69 sex scenes that it would be easy. I'm basically a sex pro. I've got my black belt in sex scenes and the readers to prove it, but it just keeps getting harder. I snicker behind my hand.
I love it so much. But she is unable to get the inspiration. She's starting to descend into self-loathing, and
It's all part of the process.
it really is. I'll write such generic rubbish. They won't feel turned on at all. I'll fail them and their libidos. But she decides that she needs to switch things up, and she's going to use the typewriter.
Yes. Also, it does say eventually I'm going to run out of ideas. I mean, there's only so many holes a hard pull can go in, right? And also, she's 27 years old.
Girl.
Let me tell you, girl, get to your late 30s, you're going to have a whole set of new ideas.
Ain't that the truth?
So she decides to use this typewriter. She had questioned whether or not she wanted to use it because she wasn't sure if she wanted to transcribe everything into her computer later, which you're doing double the work.
Yes,
there.
it's true.
And then she starts typing, and the caps lock is stuck. She's typing his hands twice, and then it says, because I have the emotional maturity of a fourth grader, I type penis, vulva, cock, all in caps lock. Not knowing what else to try, I blow on the keys. Stop, it tickles, a voice says, at the same time as another one says, ooh, don't stop, feels so good.
Keep it up and I'll never go back to lowercase.
And this is where it gets weird.
Of
but, like,
course.
the good kind of weird.
The best kind of weird. As the typical heroine does, she's wondering if she's hallucinating. The stress of this deadline must really be getting to me. She pours herself more coffee and then wonders if the coffee could be making her hallucinate. And she's like, well, it's not like I'm giving that up.
Mood.
Writing rule number 4 is write what you know, which I found fascinating because this next paragraph feels unlikely to be something that you know.
Yeah. Okay, Thea Masen. So she's drinking her coffee and then hears, we can make you feel a whole hell of a lot better than coffee. That must have been W talking to her.
It must have been, yes.
Because, as was mentioned, every time someone speaks, their letter is what is at the start of whatever, which that's an acting or like an improv technique.
Yeah, it is.
Which is interesting.
It is. I was so fascinated by it because I think it took me until
It took me a bit to figure it out too.
It was just a couple of them, but I was like, wait a second. So her eyes fly open and she thinks she's definitely hallucinating. There's no other explanation for the massive letters crowding the living room. Every letter in the alphabet covers the desk, the chair, the couch, the coffee table. Some are no bigger than my hand. Others are as big as me. All of them have faces. It's like looking at a Sesame Street alphabet song in real life. Now, I'm curious because we've had many a discussion about the sentient object not turning into a man, which we'll put a pin in that. In this case, we have a lot of letters with faces. And how do you feel about the letters with faces?
I am picturing Muppets. So not great.
I'm picturing for a bit. I was picturing the Pixar eye.
Yeah. Yep. I could see that. But I mean, the Sesame Street letters is pretty spot on. Google Sesame Street letter Muppets, and this is what I was picturing.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah. So, like, I could picture it because I've watched many an hour of Sesame Street. So
You had visual material to work with.
Yes, I did. Very much so.
So A saunters over, the swagger in their wide limbs. Lines makes me take a step back. There's a living, moving capital letter walking towards me with a look of pure lust on its face. I'm dreaming. I have to be dreaming. Allow me to explain. A bends slightly. Her breath fans across my cheek. We're here to help you with your writer's block. Now, this is also something that I don't think I've ever seen is the constant switching between genders
Yeah.
and
Well, I
pronouns
think
was interesting. Some of
I
them it
think
was
that
hard
was
to.
like
Yeah, go ahead.
she wasn't sure whether or not it was male or female, that
Yes, but
letter.
we're also gonna like later
Oh, at the
on
end.
that
Yeah.
too, right? Like so there is a lot here where you're just kind of like you just got to get on board with the fact that there's going to be he there's going to be he, she and they all use
Hims.
hymns, hymns,
Hims and hers.
hymns and hers and thems.
Hims and hers is. Yeah, all over the place.
All over the place.
Talk
Awesome.
about exploring your sexuality.
Yeah. Oh yes. So this is immediately brought up. The voice is deep and masculine, so maybe I should go with him, but it's best to ask, right? What are your pronouns, I blurt. That's what you're thinking about right now, Tists?
I mean, and Y says you can use us in lots of pronouns, lots of ways, which didn't make sense to me.
Letters.
But there's not lots of ways that you can. There's only a
No,
certain.
that's true.
There's
true.
a concrete number of letters that you can use in pronouns.
It is shifting all the time since we are
Yeah.
seeing new non-binary pronouns get tried out.
Oh, like what?
Like Z and Zay. There's
That is
ZE
a new one.
and ZEY. And then there's also, I think there's one that starts with X that people have tried. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, you learn something new every day.
Indeed.
So she does say, but what are you? And P says, pretty obvious we're letters.
It's caps lock day, baby. Don't overthink it, I says.
Which apparently, I mean, that's the whole point of this series is so caps lock day is did we ever get what the actual date is? I think we do at the end.
I think at the end where they're all listed. Let me see. I've got it here.
June 28th.
P says, are you sure she's really a writer? And our main character, whose name I don't think we
don't ever get it.
She says defensively, I am a writer. And B says, babe, you haven't written a single word in 3 days. Like, ouch.
Also, I thought you would like this line. I'm like an angry, constipated bull when I'm not writing.
It's true. It's true. It's like it all gets like bottled up and suddenly you're just like set off by the strangest things, like the color red, for example. It's just it's like seeing that it's like wondering why I'm so stressed out and realizing there are dirty dishes everywhere. It's like, oh, I haven't written. I haven't like let all the feelings out. What am I supposed to do with all of this? It's just all bottled up here.
Yeah, still, no, the dishes don't do it for me. This was where I started to realize that the letters were starting each sentence. Getting distracted again, gorgeous, G asks. Maybe we need to give you something to focus on, M says. Overwhelm your senses until your little brain can't keep up with the chatter. So we're getting a ton of letters here.
Yep.
I did like that F says, fuck, we're going to make you feel so good.
Yes, I did also. I also liked that D says, do you want this? His presence is large and dominant, but not intimidating, more protective. And then P and A surround D on either side. So they become PDA.
Nope. I didn't know. I was thinking pussy, ass, and dick. I was like, okay, but also obviously D would be dominant.
Of course.
So like each of these letters has a personality.
Yes.
She made sure of it. And it's just so well done for something so outrageous.
Yes. It's fantastic. Something slips around my throat and a sensual feminine voice says, safe word. The alliteration in that sentence alone, you already know that it's S.
Yeah.
So S asks for a safe word. We are getting consent. We are getting boundary setting. She sets her safe word as zebra.
But also zebra was put in there just so the letter Z could get its moment to shine because...
Yeah. Well, wait until we see what the only thing that X gets, which is to be a St. Andrew's cross. And that's all.
I mean,
It works.
why else would you have the letter X?
Yes, I agree. I agree. So we also get some creativity with how the shapes of the letters come into play here because
Mhm.
O and Q both wrap around her breasts and keep changing sizes, starting wide enough to bind the fullness of my tits, then shrinking as they slide down to pinch, circle, squeeze, and suck my nipples. Thea is a master.
Yeah. Like, I wonder, really, I truly would love to know the writing process for this one. Like,
Oh, I
did
know.
you print out all of the letters of the alphabet and put them on your walls and be like, what that Q do? You know?
Incredible. But we also continue to get even when the letters aren't speaking, L
Mm.
kisses a line up my neck,
Yep.
C circles my wrist, P plants kisses up my thigh, M massages my shoulders while W wraps themselves in my hair. N nudges my sleep shorts. Like all of this is it's so creative. It's
So
just
creative.
and, like, I feel like there's a world where if you say this feels like a creative writing exercise, like, that comes across negatively. But truly, the dedication of finding ways to use the letters and create personalities for each one and
Yep.
incorporate their shapes is just impressive. I love it.
This could be a masterclass on creative writing here.
Yes. Yeah.
It was so well done. So this T was a little bit confusing to me, the logistics of that one, because T drops between my legs, making themselves just the right size to wedge my thighs open with their cross section while their tongue dances over my clit. So
Mhm.
that one was like
Well,
almost like,
yeah.
yeah. So we're going upside down T here?
Then, like, imagine that his face or their face is, like, right at the intersection.
So here,
Yeah. Like, imagine there's a tongue sticking out from the intersection of the T. Now put that between your legs.
I guess. I don't know.
We love a prop.
We're made for pleasure, ours, yours, and other people's. W's willowy voice is a whisper in my ear. We give and we take.
O and Q slide down to circle my ankles and pull my legs wide. B takes over for them, bracketing my breasts.
Fantastic.
It's so good.
A straddles my lap and assaults my lips with a kiss so addicting I never wanted to end. This was like picturing the
Muppet.
the Muppets.
Yeah.
Not so great for me. But ours says radiant, perfect, P purrs, beautiful, so beautiful, B adds, S slides up my sides, succulent. So it's so good. F always starts with fuck.
Always. F has no other. It's fine. It's fine. She comes twice.
Lucky bitch.
Listen, you need a better partner, is all I'm saying.
But like it's one right after the other. It's not like
You could argue that this is a single orgasm that was prolonged.
either way.
Either way, very fun. But she says, I can't take anymore. And O says, oh, but you can. W says, we won't stop until you're screaming. And she replies, no one screams during sex, which is a fantastic challenge, I think. A gauntlet thrown, if you will. Because W says, wrong. A adds, and will prove it to you. So they maneuver her off of L, which she has been lying on, to instead tie her limbs to X with soft letters. C covers her eyes. They then basically do orgasm denial for a while here.
Yep. And then she begs for them to let her come.
Unfortunately, she does say that the damn you look good is a voice she hadn't heard yet, which isn't true. We've heard D before.
Yeah, that's true. And you know that it's D because
It's
of
damn you look good, dancing on the edge like this, destroyed by us. Do you want to come, darling?
yeah.
It's D. We know it's D, and D is dominant. It's just a very slight plot hole in this book about being fucked by every letter of the alphabet.
By the alphabet.
I have a quibble.
That's okay. So she does scream through her orgasm.
This wasn't necessary.
The way that the word was spelled out, it basically says fuck, oh my God.
Yeah, but it's fuck. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why are there W's?
Because she's screaming.
God.
God.
Oh my God.
So then we get writing rule number 5. Show, don't tell. This is one of our favorite rules.
It is.
And it is one that when used to summarize, telling distances the reader from the story. When used to tell what a character is feeling rather than showing it, the reader doesn't get to feel the visceral experience of the character. And I like to feel the character.
Indeed.
So definitely one.
But we are going to get an entire scene here of telling and not showing.
Yeah.
Because she opens her eyes, caps lock letters are gone. She realizes the room is dark. The clock on the wall tells me it's after midnight. I only have the cabin until 8 in the morning. So she writes all night, barely stopping for bathroom breaks and snacks. She is fully focused and is able to type until her eyes won't open anymore, and she falls asleep on top of the typewriter. The next morning, she buys the typewriter from the cabin owner. I'm not sure why, but it feels like it's mine now. And then we just get a summary of the next year.
Yes, in one paragraph. A couple paragraphs. Full of ups and downs. The book she wrote at the cabin rises to the top of the charts, but the one after is a complete flop. Which
the life
is like,
of an indie author.
Yes, very much so. My roommate moves out. I date a guy for a few months, but we break up after he finds out my pen name and reads one of my books.
His views on smut are incompatible with mine, to say the least.
Which is wildly important.
It is.
If you're going to break up with someone based on their, you need to be on the same page, 100%.
Yep.
Or just be accepting of the differences. You don't necessarily need to like to read the same things, but you need to
respect it.
Yeah. That whole to each his own kind of thing applies in some cases. This is one of them.
Yes. I agree. So she has a string of one-night stands. A few of them are nice. Most of them are assholes. A few turn into 3 or 4 dates, but none last long. Through it all, I can't stop thinking about the sexy letters that brought me more pleasure than any man ever has. Sometimes I sit down at the typewriter hoping the caps lock key will be stuck again and my letters will return. It never is, and they never do. But she sits down, she sits to write, and she starts to type because nothing's been inspiring her lately, and she writes the only thing that comes to mind. I want you back. And it's in all caps. She continues, I want my letters back. Where are you? Come fuck me.
Nothing happens. And then she strips down to her undies and climbs on top of her bed because it's June and hot as hell. Which
that's feasible depending on where you live.
That's true. It's the New England.
Get out of the New England.
Yeah, I know. It's still kind of cold in June. Not hot as hell anyway. And then she hears stomp, stomp, stomp down the halls. Something big is in my house. Terrifying.
Absolutely.
In your undies.
You're naked, practically laying on top of your covers, and then you hear something loud stomping down the hall. Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Writing rule number 6 is be consistent with your story logic. Things can't just change without a reason. And Thea Masen says, fuck you.
She's like, watch me.
Literally.
So then the noise stops outside of her room and says, you can't hide from me, little one. The voice booms like thunder, low and deep. It sends shivers down my spine. It's caps lock day and I want to play.
Incredible.
So she peeks out from under her covers and it's not a letter, not exactly. It's a person made up of capital letters smashed into the shape of a human. This very much reminded me of bagged by the groceries.
Uh-huh.
Except this was a little less horrifying.
A little
And
bit,
also,
yeah.
we don't get the head falling off at the end of
Oh my
everything like it
God.
did in that one.
Totally. It's so stressful.
So, words on the limbs and torso: dominant, caring, obsessed, protective, hot, strong, sensitive, thoughtful.
There are
Sounds good.
names, too. Names of every love interest I've ever written.
She says, "Who, what are you?" And the creature laughs, "I'm your fantasies come to life." Now, all of those words
Mhm.
are great. All of those, you
Yeah.
want all of those things.
Yeah.
I want all of those things in a partner. You do not want dominant.
No. No, but the rest is fine. The rest is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But don't tell me what to do. I will fucking leave you.
Anywho. So we get something thick and hard expands from the area between their legs. I can be whatever you want. A massive cock juts straight up and twitches like it's waving at me. And he says, "It'll fit."
With a smirk. The
Fine.
cock grows more, splits, becoming little tentacles, twists back together, knotting at the base, pulls in, forming smooth labia that look like the petals of a flower. I swallow, lick my lips, and scoot a little closer. How are you here? It's caps lock day.
She's like, "But you're different from last time. Why?"
And the creature just shrugs.
There's no
We don't get an explanation. We're
No.
not. We're just diving right in.
So then the creature says, "Let's tell a story."
Mm-hmm.
And they begin, "Once upon a time, there was a woman, a beautiful, intelligent woman."
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes like to be told a bedtime story. Let's see how creative you can be. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
It's a good test.
Uh-huh. And she replies, and there was a creature. And the creature corrects her and says, monster. And she smiles and says, a monster who is obsessed with the woman.
They smile, and the most stunning, perky breasts swell out of their chests. Hard little nipples made of concentric O's point at me. She sits on the bed and pulls me into her lap, so I'm straddling her.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get this kind of, and it's
Gender fluid.
but is it though? Because it's like, I guess it's different with gender and sex. Because it's like yeah, okay. Yeah.
This being fully shifts between hims, hers, herses, and thems.
Hims and herses and thems is that we get it all. So yeah, gender fluid, I suppose, would be. But it's more so than just the gender piece because we're getting the bits are changing too.
Indeed. Yes.
So-
Gender affirming care occurring
By the minute.
by the minute.
They're continuing with their sexy story.
Mm-hmm.
You were never far from my thoughts. I longed for your caress, your voice, the stunning expression you make when you come.
Mm-hmm.
So we get her mouth teases each nipple until I'm writhing, begging for something inside me.
Mm-hmm.
She grants my request with a long finger, twirling my clit and sliding up and down between my lips before pressing into me. She gets worked to over the edge.
Mhm.
She gets, this was a good way to explain the female orgasm.
Yeah,
Which-
yeah.
With slow, steady swipes, she works me into a knot of tension. The knot twists, stretches, pulls, snaps.
Yeah.
And then she is flipped around,
Mm-hmm.
pressed into the bed on her belly,
Mhm.
and now a hard cock grows against my ass, breasts flattened to a firm chest against my back.
Mhm.
So we are getting this morphing monster.
Mm-hmm. And now he spreads her legs with his knees. Every day, he says, the woman poured her passion into the monster. So once a year, the monster poured himself back into the woman.
I hate this once a year.
Well,
Thing.
it's not going to be once a year.
I know.
I agree
but
with you.
also, these female main characters that like get one night of good sex and then pine over it for a whole year.
In her defense, she did date. She
That's
did
true.
not
That's true.
sit there and do nothing. She had one night stands. She had a short relationship.
That's fair. I guess it's different than the golf club one.
And yeah, the golf club one, the night with the headless horseman,
Oh yeah.
where she had to go dig up his body, et cetera, et cetera. But the monster says, "You are mine. I'm going to pump you so full, no one else will ever satisfy you. You're never going to touch another man or woman for the rest of your life. You hear me? You're mine, only mine. And I'm going to give you everything you want and everything you need." And then he spins her around, and then on her back, she faces him and watches as tentacles grow from his groin and wrap around my legs, tugging me up and into him. One tentacle suctions over my clit, and I scream for the whole damn world to hear.
Fantastic.
Fucking love it.
Love
Let's
some
go.
tentacles.
Let's go. His cock fills me as his tentacles wrap and hold me, joining us together. Yes, yes, yes.
So she comes again, an explosion unlike anything I've ever experienced before. He fills me with his release, and wave after wave of pleasure overtakes us. We quiver and clench and cling to each other, never wanting to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get writing rule number 7, which
Indeed.
is the epitome of romance.
This is
Your
the
ending
contract.
must be satisfying. It needs to feel like all the important story questions are resolved. Don't leave the reader hanging. So when she wakes up the next day, the monster is still here, still in my bed, still asleep. Something's different about him this morning, but I can't put my finger on what it is.
He's no longer made of capital letters. His skin is blurred, fuzzy. Some of the words that make up his body are less distinct, softened to look more like a normal man. Though the rod pressing against my lower belly is far from normal.
This one reminded me of Stuffed, where like up close you're gonna tell that this is not an actual man.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, but fuzzy and blurred skin.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
Just accept it.
if it just looked like they were tattoos on his skin instead,
Yeah.
I would be more on board for that.
I agree. But it says Caps Lock Day is over, but it looks like my story man isn't tied to the Caps Lock's key anymore. He's here to stay. What do you say we write another story, he asks, rolling us over and shrouding my body with his. One that never ends, I whisper. He smiles and pushes into me, taking me to new dizzying heights I never imagined. And that's where we end.
Would you rate this one?
I really, really enjoyed this one. Do I want to give it a 5? I think I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay.
I think I'm giving it a 5. It's so creative. It's so fun. Like, the writing is really, really good. I think everything about this works, and I would happily read. Like, she has another one in this series for Rubber Ducky Day. I think I'm going with a 5. How about you?
I think we're going to have 5s across the board today. 5s for our smut scale and 5s for both of us. This was such a fun read. It made me laugh. I think it was so, so, so clever. The alliteration was so clever. I would love to know what her writing process is.
Completely agree. I want Thea Masen to become friend of the pod. Thea Masen.
Yeah.
Desperately. Probably more feasible than getting Stephen Colbert on, to be fair.
That's hey, speak it to the universe. It'll happen.
Speak it to the universe. So it is time for my favorite part. How did you cast this one?
So this one, we don't get a name.
True.
We never get a name for our character.
Okay.
But this actress is very much like, has some range, I think.
I agree.
Some range that people, I feel like, don't give her enough credit for. So I went with Vanessa Hudgens.
I love
for
it.
This one. I feel like she could play a writer and then be on board for 26 letters to come at her. I don't know.
Is that a compliment? I think it's a compliment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You got to be a special kind of person to be able to play a role like this.
True.
And I have chosen this with the utmost respect for her and her craft. And think that she'd be great at this one.
I love it so much. Well, what are we reading next week?
So, next week, we are going back to another sentient object queen, Holly Wild. And this episode will come out the week of Earth Day. So, we are reading Earthed by Holly Wild. Get
It's gonna
ready
be so good.
because I read some. I read the Deviled Egg Made Me Do It by her, which is similar. I mean, we did an episode on Halloween. So it's been a while since we've done a Holly Wild, and I am excited to.
Me too. It's gonna be fabulous.
It's been a long time. Wow, Halloween was the last one that we did by her, so it's been a very long time. She's due.
She is. It's true.
Mhm.
Time to give the queen her flowers.
Yes. Well, if you have made it this far, we appreciate you as always. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, leave us some comments, watch our YouTube videos. Links to everything is in our show notes. And with that,
We're at our wits' end.
see you next time.